Today the topic is time management in chess. The first thing I would like to say is that I think that time management has become equally important as other elements of the game, meaning that it's become as important as your opening preparation or your tactical vision or initiative, understanding of the initiative. One of the reasons is that time control has shortened, clock actually decides many games, directly or indirectly. I would start with a personal story. In 2016, me and my buddy Marcus, who's also the ambassador here, were at a tournament in Gibraltar, and we were there, had our own apartment, had quite a nice time there, and we were thinking that's basically the start where I started to think, at least for myself, started to think about the time management. We basically analyzed like what are we doing now, what could be improved, what other people are doing. And then we talked about specifically how much time can we spend for a single move, for example. What are the traps? What we should just never do. So that's where we started to analyze basically the time management. And results, at least for me, were fascinating. Really lifted my game. I think in the next 2 years, I earned probably around 60 points of rating, which was pretty amazing, given that I was 2600 at that point, and it's very difficult, those shifts. But I think time management is maybe if I had to stand out one specific thing, I would say that time management is the reason why that happened. To be honest, after 2016, I'm not sure. Before I had a lot of problems with time management, as I think most of the players do. After that conscious decision, basically, and the effort that we put in, I think I never had problems with time management after that. Like it completely disappeared. Just the knowing what actually bad time management means was enough for me to put me on the other side of the aisle. And I think about time management the same way as I said, as I think about the openings. Now I see it as a weapon. So now I see it as something that you can use against your opponents, something that can be studied deeply and really prepared. We'll talk about that in the next minutes. So I mean, here are just the basic principles. First, again, like my own personal story after 2016, when I really paid attention to what bad time management is, I was observing a lot of opponents, and there was an example of a guy who was sat down at the board and he was thinking 20 minutes for the first move. So he was thinking 20 minutes for the first move, and my heart was racing. I was so happy because I knew what it means in terms of time management. It's almost as the half of the game was already there for me, because I was aware of the effects it will have later on, and what I need to do to even amplify that, to even make it worse for him. Just a short. Can I just do a brief? It's going to be easier in Slovenian, actually. I know you guys are fluent in English, but začeli smo današnja tema predavanja time management v šahu. Po mojem mnenju tema, ki je mogoče najbolj zapostavljena, oziroma nihče o tem pač ne govori, je pa v mojem primeru leta 2016, ko sem se začel res, ko sem začel to analizirati in opazovati, kaj s tem področjem je. Sem iz ratinga 2600 v 2 letih prišel približno na 2670, tako nekako, torej nekih 70 točk, ampak v tistem rangu 2600 je 70 točk, eni to porabijo pač res, to je res nekaj vrste preskok. In potem tudi vsi, potem sem jaz tudi še naprej analiziral in tako naprej in sem začel v bistvu svoj slab time management uporabljati kot svoje orožje naprej. Torej, da sem v bistvu jaz, da je bila to moja močna stran in da sem začel opazovati svoje nasprotnike, kako porabljajo svoj čas in začel to uporabljati proti njim. In danes v bistvu je predavanje o tem, da se malo naučimo, kaj so težave, pasti in kako v bistvu to spremeniti v svoje orožje. Se pravi, kako narediti to eno izmed svojih močnejših stvari in kako uporabljati. In po mojih izkušnjah ima neverjetne učinke. Tako da, okay, that was a short introduction, now we head back to English. So yeah, just once more, I see time management now as an area of a chess game that is completely equal to opening preparation or positional play or understanding the initiative. I think it's with the shortened time control, it has become increasingly important, and yeah, that's what we're going to talk about in the next minutes. So here are just the basic principles. I'm sure you guys all know this, but again, I played, and he was an international master, like I said. We sat down, we started to play, and he was thinking 20 minutes for the first move, deciding whatever, yeah. I call this dreaming, yeah. He was kind of dreaming on whatever, and yeah, that's I would say #1 sin. You simply, with this time control, you simply cannot waste your time. It's really a big sin. So play natural and obvious moves quickly. Yeah, I'm not. This is more or less the same category as play forced moves immediately. So like you have one move, why waste time? Like why waste 2 minutes, 1 minute? Like you're gonna make the move anyway. You have to, and you're gonna see the position. You're just wasting energy. You're wasting time. So just play the forced moves immediately. And also the natural, obvious moves. The move you're just completely certain that is the right one. There are moves like that in the game, and it's just, there's no point in spending time there. If several moves are similar, don't spend too much time choosing. Now this is a little bit more difficult, but there are some positions where the value of one move is not that big. There is not a tactical strike right away, or there isn't a big threat, and the moves are more or less similar in value. So there's not much point in choosing where you're going to go, I don't know, rook e1 first, or you're going to go bishop f4 first, or you're going to go knight d2 first. So don't spend too much time there. And another obvious one, which I'm sure you all use already, is use your opponent's time. I think the main problem is that players are not aware that the time management starts way before your game. What does that mean? When you're preparing for the game, you already need to be concentrated and focused on what's ahead of you. Meaning that, I'll give you an example. There is a player in Slovenia, very, very strong, about 2,500. But he has a huge problem with time management. And so now I'm preparing for the game. So what do I do? How do I exploit this to the maximum? And this is, by the way, after 2016, when I did all this analysis and stuff like that. So what I do is, first of all, I pick an opening that I'm pretty sure he's not going to check. Like, even if it's not good, like objectively the best or whatever, I just pick an opening that will really surprise him. Because what I know is that he is a thinker. He is gonna look at this position, he's gonna say, okay, now I really need to take time. And this is one part where he's actually gonna, I'm just pushing him towards his weaknesses. Second, so this basically starts before the game. And I also decide, okay, this game I usually walk around quite a lot during the game. But this game, I'm gonna walk around way less. Why? I just want to put maximum pressure. He's gonna make a move. I'm gonna be thinking while he's thinking, and I'm gonna play quite fast. Also gonna put some, gonna put some psychological pressure on him, because he's gonna think I'm really well prepared. I'm playing fast. I'm being confident. So yeah, that's the second one, and these are all decisions before the game. Third one is already in the game. I'm also gonna pick, like with opening, I'm gonna pick lines. I'm gonna pick directions where we go, where I don't exchange as many pieces. I want to keep the position as complicated as possible, because I know that this player is, it's 99% he's going to head into time trouble. And when he comes to time trouble, my chances increase from, let's say, before the start it was 50-50, now my chances increase that I'm actually going to beat him to 80-20 or 75-25, whatever. But I increase my chances by a lot. So I think I played with this player maybe 3 or 4 times. It worked every single time. I think I made 3.5 out of 4 with and okay, he's just one. There are a lot of people that are actually not aware that time management exists and that it's so important. Of course, everybody talks about time management, but to realize how important it actually is, I'm not sure. And to be honest, there's not a lot of literature. There are not a lot of books. There are not a lot of books on, first of all, psychology of chess. You had a lecture yesterday, but there are not a lot of books on time management. Actually, in my career, maybe I ran into 1 or 2 that briefly mention those things. So it is actually an area where you can get a lot of advantage for your opponents. So, all right. So that's before the start of the game. So, like I said, time management starts, and using it as a weapon already starts. Like preparing, choosing the line. What are you going to play? How are you going to act? You're not going to walk around as much. You're going to think when it's time and put maximum pressure. Okay, so then there's, again, we return to the guy who's spending 20 minutes for 1 move. Obviously, that's complete nonsense. You should never do that. But I was working with a lot of kids, national team, and in our chess school. And basically, nobody realizes that you just have basically one. You can get a yellow card. What does that mean? You can get a yellow card by thinking too much on just on 1 move. Because if you repeat this twice, meaning that you're going to spend 15 minutes on 1 move and 20 minutes on next move, it's destined. There's no way around it. You're going to get in time trouble. That's just too much time. So you basically have one. Sometimes, like very very specific situations, you can get actually two yellow cards. But generally speaking, never spend more than 20 minutes on 1 move. If you do spend, like sometimes the situation is really really difficult, and you really need to spend time, because if you don't spend time, you're going to be in a losing position and not much fun in playing losing position with a lot of time. So it does happen. You will spend 20 minutes on 1 move, but the moment you do, you need to realize, okay, I have a yellow card, I cannot repeat this, and to be honest, this tempo is leading me into time trouble. And because of that, you need to speed up with the next moves. It's simply something that you need to be aware. And what I see is that people spend 15 moves on 1 move, obvious move, and then they spend another 15 minutes. That's terrible. That's directly leading into time trouble, and yeah, we all know that we play worse when we're under stress, and the results are going to suffer because of it. So that's kind of a golden rule. Even if this happens, even if it happens that you're in a position that is critical, that you know you need more time to think about it, it's okay. But just remember that you need to that's the yellow card. Yeah, that's the red flag. You need to be alert for the next moves. Then the second one is I use this a lot. Is that once I mean, I'll be honest, I'll give you my secrets now. So for example, in Slovenia, if I play some tournament, I don't know, in Ljubljana or whatever, there are a lot of kids that know me, or a lot of players that know me, and I know that they're respecting me, that they're scared of me, and so on. But as a player, obviously, I just want the best results, right? So what do? I will use this. I know that we're basically playing for 2 results. They'll be happy with a draw, and yeah, obviously I won't win. And they're not, even if their position is better, or they have a chance, they're not going to take it. And because of this, they're going to rerun calculations. They're going to double check, triple check, like every move, because yeah, they really want a good result versus me. So what happens is they're too careful. They have too much respect for me, and they spend too much time because of it. So don't do this. You will have better, of course, you can respect your opponent off the board. But when you're playing and so on, it's just a game, it's just an opponent, and you should not think about that. The guy is a world champion or whatever, a GM. You just need to play your game normally, and if you do, I promise you your results will be better. Because what grandmasters feed off is basically the sense that there's no danger, yeah, that you can push the limits even further and nothing's going to happen, because the one on the other side is not going to take it, he's too scared. Meaning that your results are going to be way better when the grandmaster feels the fear, feels that you're not scared, feels that you're going for it. And in my opinion, even achieving a draw or something that you would be very happy with is way more likely and way more easier if you play it in that way. And you're going to have an objectively better mindset. You're going to make better moves. You're not going to make scared moves. Okay, so and this leads basically to the last point, where don't try to make your moves bulletproof. You simply don't have enough time to double check everything, and even if you do, you're going to make some mistakes. So it's important to be practical. Okay. So yeah, like I said, some important decisions do happen early in the game. The game takes a left or right turn, and you do need to spend more time sometimes. Sometimes even like twice, like 10 minutes for one move, and then your opponent makes a surprising move, and then another 10 minutes. The important thing is that you're aware that you need to do something about it, because like if you keep it up like this, and even if you start playing normally after that point, you're still going to get in time trouble, because 10 minutes per move is simply too much, and 10 minutes is still kind of the border where okay, you can control these things, but when it's 20 minutes, yeah, that's going to be really difficult. But the problem often is that you ran into opening preparation by your opponent, and there it is smart to take some extra time. And even if you do spend 20 minutes, it is smart, because you're just going to have a losing position if you don't, more often, or worse position. And yeah, that's the same as for critical moments. What is a critical moment? Critical moment is where right before major changes in the position happen. So could be exchanges, could be change of the pawn structure, could be going from like being in an opening, but it's really tricky now because your opponent is prepared, and it is simply crucial that you make the right decision. So that would be a critical moment as well. And yeah, it's like I said, it's no satisfaction if you play in 5 minutes like that move, and after that you have a losing position, but you have a ton of time. Really not that much fun. And I would say that there are two dangerous moments, like two really dangerous moments that you hear a lot of people complain, like where the mistake happened. So it's the first move after leaving open theory. Why is that? That's funny because when you're preparing at home, you see certain position. You know, like you remember that position, and then in the game you're trying to find that position. Like, how did that happen? Like, what is my preparation? I want to get there. Like, even if the position is a little bit different, or you're still trying to get there. And because you remember how that position looked like, after leaving the opening theory, so you don't exactly know the line anymore. You are on your own. That's the first trap, because usually, even if the position is slightly different, you're still trying to get in the same territory as you were in the opening preparation. And the second is you let go a little bit. You know, like, okay, this was all theory. This was remembered, and you were kind of you were quite confident, yeah, that this is the line and this is the best, and nothing can happen, yeah. And now it's the first move, you're on your own, and this is really the time where you need to dig in and basically start the game fresh. And then it's the move 41. This is given that we have the time control, where you get additional time after move 40. Why that is there's usually a lot of pressure on move 40, right? Because you're trying to make it there, you're trying to not to lose on time, you're trying to make good moves, you're just trying to go there. And after the 40th move, you go to the toilet, you walk around, whatever, you relax. And if you relax too much, when you come back, you might be emotionally empty, or you might be thinking about, you're not as focused as you were on the move 40. So that's a good point to reset. Take a few deep breaths, or even just make some kind of a routine on what happens when you come back to the game, how you restart, so that you're in good shape. For me, what worked is just taking 2 minutes for myself, just breathing and closing my eyes. I just close my eyes, and that worked for me, but that's a very personal decision. So we are not. Chess is simply a problem-solving game. Yeah? You get a problem, you need to solve it, and you get a lot of problems during the game to solve, and with a limited amount of time. And we need to forget about the perfect moves. But we always need to think about what are practical moves. What is the easier position to play? There are some positions that are like, I would much rather choose a position that is easy to play and slightly better than a position that is clearly better, but with the board is a complete mess. There are fireworks everywhere, and of course it depends on the style. Yeah? My style was never, I was never good at, or really good at dynamic positions, so I would always choose a more safer, and I generally think that most good players would always choose for a safer position without much risk. And that's something that we need to forget about, making the perfect move, because it's simply not possible. One of my friends said that let's leave the perfect moves to the correspondence guys, who play correspondence chess. That's simply not possible. Okay, so why do we get in time trouble? In my opinion, time trouble is often very, very personal. It's always because of something. could be, like I said earlier, in your example, it could be opening preparation. That's usually a lot of players get into trouble because of bad opening preparation, and they spend too much time in the opening. And not just that they spend time, they also spend a lot of energies. That's another factor that is really problematic. Then there could be problems with calculation. That's another one. If you're slow with calculating lines and so on, that's also one of the reasons why you could get. The third one is the one that we just talked about. It's the making the perfect moves. That's simply not possible. We really need to be practical. And the overcalculation stuff is what we talked about earlier. Is again, you're not being confident or you're respecting your opponent too much, and just double checking, triple checking, and simply doesn't work. Like one of the very good, one of the ideas that I used, or me and my friend talked about a lot, and then how to analyze what is going on, how to pinpoint what is exactly my problem. Is it indecision? Is it perfectionism? What is it? We of course started to track time. Now these days it's very easy, especially here in Bled. You have BGT boards, and you can check how much time you spent on a given move. But it doesn't end there. Yeah? When you come home, when you're with your coach or alone, you need to check out. Yeah, where did I spend time? How much time did I spend? Why is the reason why I spent time there? Was it because of the bad preparation? Did my opponent surprise me? Was it that? Was it just that I simply don't know the line? Was it because of calculation? Was it because of fear? And that's how you narrow down what are the patterns that keep reappearing. And I think you could do an analysis of 9 games in Bled, for example, here, and yeah, you would come up with very concrete results, and you would see what area is exactly problematic. Okay. Yeah, this is we actually me and my buddy Marcus, we actually met the legend Yuri Averbach in Moscow, and he wrote a book, Psychology of Chess, and yeah, it is like I said, chess, time trouble or bad time management is a very, very personal thing. We all have our different reasons why we do this, and it could be that it's not even that maybe he doesn't trust his calculation, but it's just a psychological thing of repeating and just making sure, and just afraid of failure, afraid of making a mistake. And and I was talking to a grandmaster from Azerbaijan, Shakhyar Majaro, and he told me that he was 2750 or something like that, and he's still solving mate single or puzzle single, like every day he's solving puzzles in 1 move, 2 moves, or maybe not 1 move, but like 2 moves, so just to keep the sharpness, just to keep the it's called tactical vision, right? Just to keep those. So, and you get very, very comfortable calculating. You get very comfortable trusting your gut on what is the right choice there, and when your calculation is faster, your time management is better. All right, so that's it when it comes to this. We have a lot of time for some questions. If you have maybe your specific story on how do you treat your time management, or what do you think about it, or did you ever pay any attention to it, and I can give you maybe some examples or suggestions on how you would fix those things. So yeah, that's the idea. Maybe you have any how are you with time management?
Good question.
Okay.
Yeah, Yeah, so in the opening I almost try every time to play as fast as possible. When I know the move, I play it instantly because there's no point in wasting time. When I know it's a good move, then it's the best move, or the move I want to play. The thing is, I often have problems with the move 41.
Okay.
As you mentioned, like in a, which round was it? The third round, I was in a bad position, and I was a pawn down, and I just moved immediately for the first move. I was also thinking maybe my opponent is still a bit nervous because he knows he can't lose, he's maybe winning. And I tried to also put some kind of pressure, not, I mean, I knew I get 15 minutes and he gets 15 minutes, but I tried to play quick in that moment. Because I wanted to make him a bit nervous. I will play so quick, even on the 41st move. And I think it worked a bit also now.
Yeah.
You commented on that moment. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, e5, yeah, where blundered over.
Yeah, no, but before where I gave queen b2 check.
Yeah.
Immediately the 41st.
This was 41st, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, it turned out to be a good move, but I thought also it was directly after blunder, so it was like even more of a critical moment, because directly after blunder, and it was after time control also, so there, but still it was very good move, so it was.
But I think it was the only check I had. I thought just give a check and let the opponent think.
No, that's a good point. We didn't talk about this. I mean, I didn't mention it much, but there is the second time. I mean, like there's the primary or the time management in the 40 moves, and then after that, and this is also could be you get 15 minutes. In some tournaments you got 30 minutes, which is a little bit better. But when you get 15 minutes, there's no time for like taking 10 moves for 10 minutes for a move, because you're just gonna play blitz till the end of the game if you do something like that. So. You really need to be careful with the second portion as well. But like you say, like move 41 can be really tricky, because all the excitement of making it to the move 40 could be stressful for both sides. So it's also a good opportunity maybe for you, like to switch things around.
And also what happened one time, I made a mistake in my notation, and since that. And then I lost on time, because I only had 39 moves. I made some mistake. I did not write, let's say, beautifully. Chaos on the notation, and then I lost on time. And since that game, I almost ever make the 41st move, just to be sure.
Another feeling. Another
be sure.
That's not great. Because that could be a critical moment. Could be a critical moment of the game. That's why I don't like this time controls where you don't get extra time. When you make the 40th move, we used to play, you just got the 15 minutes right away. And now it's time needs to run down, and then you get the additional time. I don't understand why this is necessary, but
I think this comes from some tournaments that don't have that good conditions like here, where neighboring ports are closed, and then somebody presses accidentally the wrong clock of the neighbor, and then the count is messed up, and you get the time earlier. But how would you define time trouble, or let's say, what is time trouble? Because how many moves? I mean, how many minutes per move?
I mean, this is again, like I said, it's we can make the calculation, right? I mean, and it's never going to be that way. It just means that if your opening preparation is good, you should never spend something like 10 minutes, more than 10 minutes for the opening, right? Of your own time, because like if you are aware of the moves, of the principles of the lines and stuff like that, there's simply no reason, and you can put a lot of pressure on your opponent by just playing fast in the opening, just being confident, playing fast. He's gonna usually gonna react in a way where he gets even more scared. Like, what if I ran into preparation? He's gonna overthink and stuff like that. So I would say that if you know the opening, and that is usually these days 15 to 20 moves, you can play that it is of course specific, right? Because if you get surprised, it's usually his opponent, your opponent's move was not very good, and you can take advantage of it, and it makes sense to spend time. But generally, like my rule of thumb is that if I play the opening relatively fast, then the next, so the I would say everyday move or like just random move, yeah, is just played in 3 to 5 minutes. That's like my, how to say, rule of thumb. Not more than that. And the most important thing, in my opinion, is, and we're gonna look at this from the other side as well. If I do take time and spend 20 minutes per move, for one move, it's red alert in my head. It's just, I know that this is gonna influence the rest of the game if I don't do something about it. And I think like 9 out of 10 players are not aware of it. They don't get red flags that something is off and that this actually leads to, because you have hour and 15 minutes, you spent 20 minutes, now you're down to 55. Oh, it still feels kind of okay, yeah? You spend another 15 minutes, you're down to 40, and yeah, 40 minutes is a lot, yeah? But you have so many moves left that this is just simply, it's leading also the patterns and the mindset where you're in, where you're obviously checking too much or you're not confident or whatever. I mean, observe your games. Like it's a good point that you maybe take what we're talking about now to your games and just observe. I would not recommend that you start implementing it today, in your game and start playing super fast or whatever. That's not the goal here. But the goal is that when you come home and you check what happened in Bled, you analyze, okay, let's check the games, how much time did I spend here and there, and what were the reasons of it. It's very good. It's very nice also to write some comments about it, because your coaches can give you advice then based on that. And yeah, now let's take a look at, let's switch roles. And again, my example with the guy I played frequently was big problems with time management. So one part of this whole conversation is solving your time management, but consequently, this becomes a weapon for you that you can use in a lot of games. Like I said, from 2016, basically I never got into trouble again, and I played a lot of top guys, like really, really top guys, and I simply knew that also the understanding that they understand what is time management and they want to put pressure on me on those last 10, 20 minutes. I knew that I decided what is comfortable for me. In the last 10 minutes, so when I'm on move 30, I have 10 more moves till move 40. I need 20 minutes. This is like a gold standard for me. I need 20 minutes because I don't want to mess up my position. Like if it's good, that's even worse, yeah, to lose a winning position. I don't want to mess that up, and I need 20 minutes to be extremely comfortable. And that's only 2, so we have 10 moves, 20 minutes, only 2 minutes per move. So you see, what a waste of time is spending 20 minutes in, I don't know, move 6, yeah? You only have, but this is kind of this was my conscious decision. So I always observed my time situation, and I said, okay, where is this leading? And generally my rule of thumb was that I need 20 minutes for the last 10 moves. And usually that worked really, really well. I was never in after 2016, I don't remember a single game where I would be in tension. I would rather make a non-optimal move, a fast move, a move that was not completely, I didn't think through, but realize that, okay, my main objective is not to get in serious time trouble, because like the top guys are really, really good in exploiting this. They're going to put maximum pressure on you, and the better the competition, the better your opponents are, the more they're going to use this. So just create your own standards, I would say. Yeah, create an environment where you feel good. And now, again, going to the flip side, how I already discussed a lot about how to use this, but you would be surprised on how much you can improve your results and how much more pressure you can put in your opponents and how bad they will actually react. And it's really not difficult. It's just, just being observing, being aware that this is one area that everybody is lacking, and just observing what is going and making your own plan on how to execute everything. And then, yeah, my results, or let's say, when I started doing this, like I said, my results just went straight up. Gremo naprej. Ste malo delili, kakšne so vaše izkušnje z časovno stisko, oziroma z časom?
Okay, v angliščini ali v nemščini?
Lahko v angliščini. Ali pa kakor, po želji.
Okay, for me, it's like I get in time trouble, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Yesterday I didn't. I ended with the hour and 12 minutes. But then, I don't know, when we had national championship this year, I found that move since I didn't know the opening theory. I had like 30 minutes since I didn't know what to play.
Okay, and this led into you were in time trouble in the end, or?
A little, but because I had from then on I didn't use this much of my time since I had only 30 minutes, so
Yeah, okay.
at the end I had like, I don't know, 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, this happens for sure. This is chess, and you will get, you're gonna play somebody like our ambassador, Marcus, and he's gonna out-prepare you. And you're gonna have problems in the openings. He's gonna surprise you. Yeah, you're gonna have this is just what happens. Yeah, but again, you will spend some time. You will say, okay, this is a critical moment. I need to spend 15, 20 minutes here, or like in your case, maybe 1 hour. Yeah, which is too much, but okay, 1 hour, and then. But then, with the remaining of your time, like you said, you didn't get in time trouble, like the time trouble where you have 30 seconds, I mean. And then you just need to be smart about it and just know that, okay, now I have 30 minutes, but now it's Speedy Gonzalez, I need to go, yeah? I need to play move fast. I need to calculate. There's no room for walking around. There's almost no room for going to the toilet. It's just focus and just calculate as deeply as you can all the time, and just try to reduce the damage. That's all you can do. Hočeš ti? Si velikrat v časovni stiski, ali ne?
Ne velikrat. Njih predvčerajšnjim sem imel malo časa. Brzačnih
ne toliko. Okay. Yeah, usually this is also connected to character. I have a friend who was in the national team, Jure Gorishek. I've never seen him in time trouble, like in my whole life. We played, I think, 8 Olympiads together, 6 Europeans, and I've been with him. He's been my teammate for most of my career. I've never seen him in time trouble, and some people have it naturally. This decision making and stuff, but it's really rare. Like it's much more often that people overthink and actually do get in time trouble. So it also depends a little bit on the character. Yeah, I guess being confident and calculating fast. He was, for example, calculating very fast. That was his advantage. So ideš ti? Kaj imaš pa ti?
Da, ko pridem časovno stisko, da me postane malo strah.
Aha, strah te postane, ok.
Ker sem
recimo v eni partiji. Problem je v tem, da to zelo velik davek pusti naprej v turnirju. In potem neko 7., 8., 9. kola lahko ostaneš brez energije, zaradi tega, ker si je to porabil v prvi, drugi, tretji, ker to je stres, da pač ti si na 3 minutah, 2 minutah, tvoj nasprotnik ima 1 uro in zdaj čakaš, od kje bo prišlo, na nek tak način. In to je kar tako, da to je na srečo, pač seveda imate še ogromno časa, ampak to je absolutno področje, kjer lahko, tako kot sem rekel, da se obrne to iz tega, da je to težava, oziroma da je to nekaj, na čemu je treba delati, to, da to postane velika, velika prednost. Zaradi tega, kot sem rekel, 9 od 10 igralcev se niti ne ukvarja s tem. Podobno tako kot včeraj, ko je bila psihologija, 9 od 10 igralcev se ne ukvarja z psihološkimi stvarmi pri šahu in podobno tukaj pri time managementu.
Luka,
yeah.
You know what is funny? Funny thing is that all the time trouble, Frida case or Gerald's case or kids' cases come from the fear, you know? I realized, for example, they take a knife, go here, and then this, wait, go back, and think again, go here, go back, and this do like 3-4 times. And I'm a businessman. I know that in the business perspective way, every cent, every euro, at the end of the day, it means a lot, you know, because if you have 3 cents on 1 million toothbrushes, it's 30,000 euros, you know? So every cent, so here every second count. And if you lose on your move like 15 or 20 seconds because you're doing this and waiting and then go back, and when you decide, I always say to Frida, when you decide, just play, press the watch, that's it, okay?
Yeah.
But she's losing like, not anymore, but before, because she was thinking, what if this move is not correct? I'm going to lose. I said, it's not a problem, just play, because if you're thinking about this move too many times and too long, you will, and this is what happened. It used to happen with her, not anymore, fortunately, but this fear always takes you so much time.
The thing is that, and Raga, you can probably confirm this, that there also is I will get to this specifically, but there also is a point where simply using more time does no benefit. In sense that, you know, like you calculate a line, you calculate the position, and that's it, and you generally are able to do this in 10 minutes. Like every position there is, like, okay, 15 max, and then usually you don't like anything and you start returning again, right? But to the stuff that you already calculated. So one is, of course, desperation. You're still trying to find a way out. Second is just not being confident. Not being confident in your calculation. And I think here the practice or how to get rid of this is just being extremely confident about calculation and just calculation skills, so that you simply are. I mean, maybe Raga, you have an additional comment on this, but I would say that, you know, just repeating and calculation skills is very important here.
Yeah, I think it's also good that you raised this topic, because it's important to work on it early on. There are really some strong players who definitely they noticed that their biggest weakness is time trouble, and they simply are not able to get rid of it. I was the second of Alexander Grishuk, and by the time like there, he sort of resigned. He said, okay, I tried everything there, it's not working. I mean, we have to look at other things. It's not, I mean, I cannot get rid of it. And it was very similar with best female player from Austria, Eva Moser. She also had this time trouble and she could not get rid of it. And at some point, I mean, sort of accept it, because you cannot get rid. So it's very good that you early on figure out what are your triggers, what is taking you long to spend the time and to get rid of it.
Yeah, because if you're a character that has generally a natural, you like to think, this will only get amplified, and it will only get worse. And at some point, it's so strong. I know so many players that simply know, that chess is their career, it's their business, and what is missing, or what is the one of the biggest problems is they keep getting in time troubles. They keep losing, first places in the time trouble and so on. But it's so difficult after that. Just a lot of discipline, and you've been doing it for your whole life, and it's really, really difficult. So again, like Raga said, I think it's really important to tackle this early on and just view generally time management as equal as opening preparation, equally as end games. It's just become a really, really important topic. So being good at calculations, and all kids have this problem, by the way. Like from when I have a lot of I'm observing a lot of tournaments these days with our kids playing, and also in the club. And yeah, again, I would say 80% of them indecisive, and then they grab a piece and they go, they want to make a move, and then they see it's not good, and all this stuff. It's just a calculation skill, in my opinion. Just putting a lot of hours there. And like I said, even somebody like Mamejarov, 750. I mean, Raga, you know him very well. He's probably one of the best, when it comes to calculation skill, or was one of the best, in his time. But even he was close to 2,800, and he did mates in two, like every day for half an hour, just to get the grip, just to have the intuition, just to keep it sharp. So it's sometimes I give some puzzles to Lev. I have mates in two, so boring. But yeah, he'll understand it. I hope at some point, that it's just important to have these patterns in your head.
Yeah. Mamacharov, he said that preparing for the candidates, he even had one person. His only task was to set up meeting tools. So his training room would be, he had the computer to work on, and there were 8 chessboards, and there was one person to set up 8 mating tools from some book, and then he would go solve them, and then he would work half an hour on the lines, and then again he would go for a round to solve them. And one guy was just allocated, I mean, his task was only to set up, find this mating tool, set up mating tool, and he would solve them.
Okay. And something else? Maybe something. I think we kind of covered it. The general idea is, like I said, is first of all to fix your own problems, and then start making it as your weapon, and just win games because of it, and just have better results because of it. That's the idea. And I had this similar lecture maybe 3 years ago with Slovenian female national team, and they tried it. They tried it on the specific tournament where we were. They all tried it. They all followed these principles. They all analyzed the games and so on, and results were again confirming what I already knew from my own career. Results were really surprising. It's just basically the fastest fix you can basically do to lift your rating right away. That's in my opinion, there's not an area where you can improve in this quickly. So that's it.
One more thing.
But
just to a question. Magnus Carlsen, not always, but sometimes he comes too late to his games. I mean, there's a famous example from, I don't know, Brits World Championship, where he came 2 minutes too late, or even more. For 30 seconds he played and won the game easily. Do you think he does this on purpose sometimes, in classical games? To make because I don't think it's right. Actually, it can't be smart in
I think
time management.
to be honest, I mean, he's playing with the top guys. So I honestly think top guys don't care. Okay. It's just the 2 minutes that he will potentially have less if the game goes into time trouble. But he's usually very good with time management, and he doesn't see this as an issue. I really don't care. I really don't think that top players care about him being late.
No, sorry, but do you think he does this on purpose that he comes late, or is it just a bit, I don't know the English word?
I don't know. I would think that it's just random. I would think it's just random. I don't think he does this on purpose.
So it was
because,
just a bit late getting up from bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe Raga, maybe you know the backstage better. You know a lot of the top guys, but I think this is nobody cares about this, to be honest. Like it would affect.
Nobody's coming late on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Top
coming
guys.
late. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they come late because something. In this case of what you said, I think Magnus was skiing or something and came back late. Yeah.
Or I had to drive my bike too.
Yeah, but he didn't find there in Budapest in the Olympiad. He went by bike and got lost a bit.
Okay, because at my level, or not only at my level, even higher of course, I'm sure some people use this also as a kind of a weapon to let the opponent wait for the first move. Just
Yeah. To be honest, like if this happens to me, like if my opponent is late 15 minutes, I'm like this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's so nice. You know, that's so nice. It's basically like giving. I'm an analytic guy, so it's basically like giving 5 to 10% of the game to me. You know, because this cannot help me. Yeah? I'm not gonna get nervous because you're late. I'm gonna go probably to the bar and have a coffee, enjoy life, watch some games, walk around a little bit. You know, think about what's going on, what is likely to happen, and you being 15 minutes late, music to my ears. You know? So that's always something that kind of cheap tricks. But I mean, why would you care? Yeah? Why would you care? Anyway, you're going to be there for 2.5 hours. So if your opponent deliberately wants to give you a handicap, so yeah, thanks, we will take it. Yeah. So, but I mean, there's maybe one like there is only one guy, yeah, and that's probably the guy that Aga mentioned, yeah, Grishchuk, yeah. He was this guy that could actually play time trouble basically as good as if he had time. Yeah? I mean, he was just well known that, and he usually put opponents into some kind of a trap. You know, they started to play faster, they put more pressure and so on, and he just refuted everything. And he did this countless of times. Yeah? I know, because people got excited. You know, it's the time. So you still need to keep your emotions intact.
But still, with him, it was like even he himself felt it's a problem, it's a disadvantage. So it was, even he did it very well, but he also had the feeling that this is maybe stopping him from even reaching higher than world number 2. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's just very, very stressful for your body. You know, like to be in time trouble game 1, you just spend a lot of energy. And then in game 2, it repeats. You have hard time sleeping. You know, like and all these things. It kind of connects, and then it's maybe not the first 5 rounds, but by the end of the tournament, you're completely drained. You know, and you simply have no energy, and then a mistake, a blunder, or whatever, and you're not even thinking that this might be I mean, a reference from sports. Maybe it's, you know, like you often hear Nadal, yeah, was one of the greatest, yeah, but he was always draining out his opponents. You know, like it was a long matches from the baseline. It kept going. Nobody could match it. Yeah, but the consequence probably is that, you know, after 10-15 years of this, you get hurt. You know, like you worn out your body a little bit. Yeah, so it's a little bit of the same thing when it comes to time trouble and how much energy you spend. So yeah. Okay, thank you all. If you have any questions, of course you can just contact me privately. And yeah, good luck at your games, and if you're playing the simuls.